So let's talk about something that's affecting pretty much all of us: focus. Specifically, those sneaky little habits that are quietly chipping away at our ability to concentrate. We're going to break down why it's happening and, way more importantly, what we can actually do about it.
You know the feeling, right? Your day is a total blur of activity. You're answering emails, you're jumping between tasks, your brain feels like it's going a million miles an hour. But then, when you finally clock out, you look back and think, what did I actually accomplish today? It's so frustrating, and you're definitely not alone.
But here's the thing, and this is so important. It's not a personal failure. It's not that you're somehow broken. The issue is a set of habits that our modern world has basically trained into us. And the best part about habits? They can be broken, and they can be replaced with better ones.
Okay, so let's dive right into the first big one, the myth of multitasking. Man, it feels so productive, doesn't it? It keeps us feeling busy. But what's actually happening inside our brains is, well, it's something completely different, and it's not efficient at all.
The real problem has a name: attention residue. See, your brain can't actually focus on two complex things at once. It just switches back and forth between them really, really fast. And every time you switch, a little piece of your focus gets left behind, still thinking about that last thing you were doing. So even when you feel like you're 100% on the new task, you're not. You're operating with a split brain.
And this constant switching, it comes at a huge cost. On top of that attention residue we just talked about, it causes major cognitive fatigue. You're just burning through mental energy. It also encourages shallow thinking, because you never stay on one thing long enough to go deep. And maybe the scariest part? Over time, it actually rewires your brain to crave that constant stimulation, making quiet, deep focus feel almost impossible.
So, how do we fight back? We have to deliberately practice single tasking. It's like a muscle. You start by picking just one thing to work on. Then, and this is crucial, you remove everything else that's competing for your attention. Close the tabs, silence the phone. Then you work in focused blocks, maybe just 25 minutes to start. If a random idea pops into your head, you just jot it down on a parking list to deal with later. This whole process trains your brain to go all in on one thing at a time.
And that leads us perfectly into our next big challenge, the constant war our brains are fighting against distractions, especially digital ones, because, let's be honest, they are literally engineered to beat us.
What's so wild is just how simple the trap is. You get a notification, that's the cue. You check your phone, and you get a tiny, unpredictable reward, a little hit of a brain chemical called dopamine. And that loop, cue, action, reward, trains your brain to constantly seek out that feeling, pulling you away from anything that requires real effort.
And the cost of that little pull is just staggering. Get this, research shows it can take up to 23 minutes, 23, to get back into a state of deep focus after just one tiny interruption. Think about how many times a day you glance at your phone. Each one of those can derail a whole chunk of your productive time.
And this really says it all, doesn't it? We think a notification only steals a few seconds, but what it's really robbing us of is deep focus. That's the mental state where we do our best thinking, where our creativity sparks, where we solve the hard problems. We're trading our best work for a quick peek at an email.
To break this cycle, you have to get intentional. I mean, really intentional. Turn off every notification that isn't absolutely critical. Put your phone in another room when you need to focus. Carve out windows of time, even just 30 minutes, that are totally tech-free. Oh, and schedule time to check messages. That tells your brain, hey, don't worry, we'll get our fix later, which lets it calm down and focus right now.
But hey, focus isn't just about managing your phone. Our mental clarity is so deeply tied to our physical bodies, and it all starts with the absolute foundation: sleep. We have to completely reframe how we see sleep. It's not just passive downtime where your body rests. It's an active brain repair cycle. When you're sleeping, your brain is literally cleaning itself, flushing out toxins, organizing memories, and repairing the very circuits you need for attention the next day. Skimping on sleep is like showing up to a final exam without studying. You're just setting yourself up to fail.
This idea also applies to your physical space. Think about it. A messy desk, a desktop with 100 icons, it's all visual noise. And even if you're not actively thinking about it, your brain is processing all that clutter in the background, which creates low-level stress and just drains your mental battery. A clear space really does help create a clear mind.
All right, let's turn inward now. Because a lot of the time, the biggest distractions aren't our phones or the clutter around us. They're the habits inside our own heads, like not having clear priorities.
This right here is at the absolute heart of the internal struggle. If you don't decide ahead of time what's important, your brain has no filter. It just defaults to panic mode, treating every single email, every little request as a 5-alarm fire. That's why you feel so busy but not productive. Clarity is the only way out of that chaos. And the solution can be really simple, but it's so powerful. Every morning, just decide on your top 3 priorities for the day. That's it, just 3. Then, start with the most important one first. And please, fight that urge for perfection. Just aim to make progress. When you focus on the effort you put in, not just the final result, you build momentum. And that's how you keep going.
Finally, let's talk about taking a break. We all know we need them, but it turns out most of us are taking the totally wrong kind of break, the kind that actually makes it harder to focus when we get back to work.
Okay, look at this crucial difference. A fake break, like scrolling through social media or news feeds, it just swaps one type of overstimulation for another. It keeps your brain all revved up. A real break is about hitting the reset button on your nervous system. Things like a short walk, a good stretch, or even just staring out the window for a few minutes. That's what gives your mind the actual downtime it needs to come back sharp and ready to go.
And really, that's what this all comes down to. This is the big empowering idea. Your ability to focus isn't broken. It's not gone forever. It's a skill. It's a muscle. It's something that was shaped by your habits, and it's something that can be rebuilt, one intentional choice at a time.
So I want to leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about, what is the one small thing you can do today? What's the one distraction you're going to decide to conquer to start rebuilding that focus muscle right now?